everyone, and welcome to week 14. Yeah, we are closing in, aren't we, to the end? So let's keep it strong, right? So let's start by week 14 information. So the big thing here are your study resources. So that's the linear regression notes, the solving for simple linear regression, and then the regression activity. All of these are going to be really important for when you go to do the quiz. So make sure you print this stuff off, make sure you go through this. You also want to, you will need the probability distribution calculator that we've used before, and then you'll also want to review through some of this stuff as well. So there is a lot of stuff that you will be reading and going through, but in general, most of it isn't too difficult, I don't think. In the past, most students seem to be okay with it. So if you have problems, let me know, but definitely work through this stuff. So moving along, sorry, just gonna go ahead and close that out. Okay. So the first thing you have this week is your create your Minitab file. So this is important. So first of all, make sure you read my feedback for your Project 4 planning. This is really important. Review this. Don't do anything until you've reviewed that feedback and then made any corrections or adjustments for the feedback. Then for this file, what you're going to end up doing is getting all of the schools that fit with whatever you picked. So remember, you go to that spreadsheet and make sure you have, like small high schools or large elementary schools or whatever it is, but make sure all of your schools fit. And then for all of your different response predictor variables, or your response, and then your different predictor variables, you just need to go through and find the actual data for each school. So I've got the process for how to do this. Go to the spreadsheet, pick your schools based on your characteristics, then add the name of your response variable in the columns, because you will be doing this in Minitab. So you'll be finding this stuff online, but you will be entering in the data in Minitab. But then I just explained how to go through that report card, get all of the information you need, and then once you're finished, submit your Minitab file to this assignment. So there you go. That is your first part of the Project 4 is create the Minitab file. The next one is your introduction and methods. So for this one, once again, it'll be for Project 4 final paper. So this is just kind of the rough draft. And so this is just a general, what's the topic, what types of schools were picked. So this isn't which schools were picked, this is what types of schools were picked. So this would be like your small types of schools or whatever. Why did you pick these types of schools? What response variable was picked and why was it picked? Which response variable, why do you think it would be a good measure of how well a school does? What predictor variables were picked? How do you think they are related to your response variable? What do you hope to learn from this project? Then methodology. So how did you specifically select the schools you used for this project? So explain and then direct the reader to an appendix with a full list of all 35 plus schools. What were the response and predictor variables? Provide a data dictionary for these variables that explain exactly what they are. Where did you collect the data? Explain what website was used and provide the link. How did you collect the data? So just explain your process. And then for your response and all predictor variables, provide the following information. And do this in Minitab, but you can just go ahead and find your mean, standard deviation, the lowest value, and the highest value for each response and your predictor variables. And then the appendix just goes at the end of the paper. So that's what you've got for introduction and methods. Correlations is hopefully a fun one. It has to do with spurious correlations or spurious relationships. And most students find this kind of fun and kind of interesting, so I hope you do too. But the big thing is you need to find two correlations, one positive, one negative. Include both charts in your discussion. Make sure to include the actual correlation number. Indicate which is your positive and which is your negative, and then attempt to explain the correlation in each chart. So remember, they will not have a serious explanation, so the more absurd, the better. So go for it. Other than that, you've got the two quizzes. And like I said, for the quizzes, you definitely want to make sure you're looking at the course resources for both of these. So, and I will actually add that note in there. But yeah, for both of these, you really are going to be using the study resources. So I hope this helps. I hope you have a great week, and let me know if you need anything.